are these local-ass bitches?
On today's show, the bitches explore the magical, seedy underworld of the Burning Man Festival with guest Cameron Heinze, also known as Manny's hot-ass boyfriend. Nora shares her favorite online profile that features the bitches' favorite topic, the butt. Lisa talks about her aversion to Jack Nicholson, and Rosa expresses her concern for the Coreys, Haim and Feldman. Without further ado,
I'm Lisa.
I'm Manny.
I'm Rosa.
I'm Nora.
Welcome to the lab. Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab.
Welcome.
Hi guys.
This is episode number 8.
Yes. 8 is great.
Yeah, oh, that's cute.
8 is great, but 8 is not enough.
Oh,
Ah, very
like that.
clever.
Throwback.
Very clever.
Little 80s throwback.
Very good, Manny.
Was it
I'm
like,
trying to get
what
groans
was it?
out of
Scott
people.
Baio? 8 is not enough?
No, 8 is not enough. No, 8 is
8
enough.
is enough.
8 is enough. No, that was Charles in Charge, you're thinking.
Charles in Charge, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I always wanted Charles to be in charge of me.
Yeah.
I thought he was so hot.
my
That's
God,
we were
I
just
love
talking about
Chachi.
crushes.
Yes!
I had a crush on him.
So did I.
I
So
love
did-
Chachi.
yeah.
When Chachi, like when Joni Loves Chachi came
Joey
out.
loves Chachi, he was hot.
I banned watching TV. I was like, he married that ugly bitch.
He went out with her real life.
I know.
Yeah, they had like a major
love.
relationship.
And there was something about the ecosystem of his like side part with the mullet. It was like the right amount of like mullet.
Yeah.
yeah.
He had a mullet? I'm
He
looking
was
it up.
so
Not a
cute.
huge mullet. It was just like, it was
Yes.
a little bit.
He had the whole. I
He's
think.
like
covered the
Rick
neck.
Springfield
I-
flip.
Let's see. I think
With
he
the jean
had.
jacket. Oh,
Oh, the
Oh yeah.
jacket.
Remember
I wanna lick
bandana
his
around the
jacket.
leg?
Converse.
Oh yeah, he did it.
Mhm.
He had a little bounce to his step too.
Scott.
We're already digressing, guys.
Yes.
Oh.
We already had a plan on what we were going to do because we have some exciting things today.
Scott Baio mullet.
yeah.
I'm like Google image searching it.
Boop, 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 boop. Wasn't there a show like that when someone would enter it? Not Batman, but there was another show too where someone would enter the information. Was it Aim and Vicky?
Vicky.
Yeah.
Small
With
Wonder.
Small Wonder, she's a small wonder.
Remember that?
That show used to
Remember,
freak me out.
like he would ask her something, she would like compute it. She'd be like boop 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 boop, and then the tape would come out of her
Yeah, I think it was
mouth or
Small
something.
Wonder.
Oh, it was like a ticket.
And they would put that bitch in the closet. They were like, boom, and
Yeah.
she
They would
would.
put her
Like
in the
a
closet.
vacuum.
I think she was the
Yeah.
first gay character on television because they would always put her in the closet. Like at the end of every episode. And she's like, I'm a robot. I'm talking like a robot. I'm a robot. I'm talking like a robot.
Well, anyway, before we get too far,
Yes, because already, right
I
out of the
know
gate.
we already have our second guest on the show.
Yes, actually, we talked a little bit last time about Burning Man, and I know actually this is an interesting thing is since we started the podcast, when we first started the podcast, I had just started dating this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
Yes,
and
yes.
then through the episodes,
He was
you've
this
heard
guy.
me talk more and more about him,
Mhm.
and now we're gonna be moving in together
Oh
pretty
my
soon.
God.
And he's also our guest today. Please welcome Mr. Cameron Heinze.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh,
And
thanks
by
so
the
much for
way,
having me.
Burning Man, we're talking about the actual event that happens once a year out in the middle of the desert, not some other concept of Burning
Oh,
Man.
right, yeah.
Yeah. These two men are not burning or burning for each other, or they are burning for each other, but not in the medically bad way.
This is Burning Man,
Yes.
not Burning Men.
Yes.
So, okay.
So Cameron, you've been to Burning Man twice.
I have. So yeah, so these guys invited me on to talk about Burning Man, and I hope they asked me some good questions.
Absolutely.
But
I am fascinated.
yeah.
With the whole thing.
So anyway, my entry to Burning Man was one of my very best friends, like my oldest friend. We've been friends since 8th grade. She, through like work that she was doing with a dance company in New York, got hooked up with this Burning Man camp like 7 years ago or so. And after she went for the first time, she was like, Cameron, you would love this shit so much. She's like, it's just made for you. I really want you to come with me. And it was like every year I had some excuse, you know. I was like, I don't have enough money. I'm not so sure. And then I...
And just for the sake the people who don't know what Burning Man is, let's explain a little bit about what it is.
Yeah.
So, it's this festival that's held out in the middle of the desert every year. And
It's in Nevada, right?
It's in Nevada,
Yeah,
northern Nevada.
Right, and it's put together by just a group of organizers that wanted to have this environment to be free, right? I mean, it kind of stems from that in a way.
Yeah, so like the whole idea is an opportunity to build community, right? So it's not like a festival. It's not like a music festival. There's tons of music. There's tons of performance. There's tons of other stuff. But it's not a festival in like the curated sense of like, we're going to put together a group of people and like deliver it to an audience.
Right.
It's not like that. It's like everything that is in the at Burning Man is built by the people who go.
So it's interactive. Like
It's
super,
totally
yeah.
interactive, and the interaction is like expected, right?
Oh my god, that's so cool.
So what?
Right,
Oh
and
my
they
god!
build the community. Not only that, but it's well organized. It's a sense of commonality. So they go by a bartering system there.
So
you can't bring anything commercial.
Isn't that a miss?
So it is actually. So that's a misconception.
Really? Because
That's-
I thought I read it in the newsletter.
Well, the thing is like that's what I always knew it to be as well. But it's actually a gifting economy. So the idea is you're never supposed to barter and say like, I'll give you this if you give me that.
yes. Okay.
So I mean, it's like it's a nuance, right? But
What is like?
But yeah.
things, like rides and stuff.
so
It's like a theme park.
Theme park.
Well, we'll get to that.
I mean, sort of at times, yeah. Because
Wow.
so this gift economy, right? So people they're just like, I want to bring this to the playa, which is the name of the space, right? I want to bring this to the community, and some people like they build a roller skating rink. There's a
Okay,
camp
so
that
that's
brings,
probably what she's seen.
yeah, there's a camp that does like bumper cars.
Oh my god, is that
Yeah,
cool?
all this crazy
See,
stuff.
yeah.
And but like that's why it's so crazy. I mean, I think one of my favorite things about it is it's like there's no reason that it should exist as far as like contemporary society is concerned, because there's no like money changing hands. There's like no reason that anyone should provide things for the community, that they just do it because it's fun, and they do it at their own monetary loss.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's the end that they're striving for. Like, it's not money. It's not profit.
yeah. They just do it because it's really like totally like the whole thing is just like, wouldn't it be cool if?
Wow.
That's like Burning Man. Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
they have art installations, and then it culminates in this big thing where they burn a figure of a man.
Yeah, an
that it's supposed
effigy.
to represent.
Yeah.
of some
Yeah.
sort. But so tell us a little bit more. Like, I hear travel there is crazy, and you have to really kind of not go there directly. You have to kind of find your way around there because it gets very busy and convoluted and kind of chaotic. So can you tell us about your experience with that too?
Yeah, for sure. So it's in this like the space where it's held. It's called the Black Rock Desert, and so it's a legit thing. It's owned by the federal government. The land is, and it's like 2 hours from Nevada. I mean, from Reno in Nevada, and there's a tiny little town right outside the desert called Gerlach, and that's like the biggest. That's the biggest town or city within like
Oh, okay.
an hour
Holy crap.
drive.
Mhm.
So
So there's not even like a gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I
There's
would
no,
freak
like-
out.
right.
You
Like, you
gotta
forgot
bring
your
your own
cigarettes,
water.
nothing.
Yeah, but so it's
Love
crazy.
it.
So like, so you,
Wow.
yeah, it's
That's
really
amazing.
cool. So you drive, you drive in, and it's just right now they have about 70,000 people who go, and so it's just like 70,000 people trying to get into a
Holy
space
crap.
that like the infrastructure supports like 700.
Oh my god.
So, and then in addition to that, it's all about what they call radical self-reliance. And so absolutely everything that you'll need for the period of time that you're there, whether that's 3 days or 10 days or 2 weeks, whatever, you have to bring with you.
Gotcha.
So like you can't go to like the corner store
Yeah.
and buy bread,
Right.
or whatever.
Can you imagine me
Like-
with my toiletries?
Yeah.
I would need my toiletries. Now, I do
You
have
would
a
need to
question.
actually make a toilet tree.
Yeah.
Like you would need to make a tree.
Yes.
Now,
She would.
one thing that totally fascinates me about Burning Man, like you just mentioned, the burning of the effigy, is that also symbolic about like our everyday society? Because one thing that Manny had mentioned last time, which I really like this concept, you guys talk about default reality,
Uh-huh.
like your default reality.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so I mean, that's just like, so there's, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of silly, but there's like a whole like dictionary of vocabulary,
okay.
right? So like you go and like you learn all these words, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of them is
phrases.
default world, right?
World.
Yeah, which is like your life outside of Burning Man, you know, because it really is like this opportunity to totally change like the way that you interact with yourself.
That's so cool.
And the world for 7 days or whatever, you know. And then there's the default world, which you know you have to go back to,
Right.
and like, you know, and
I'd
you
be
just
freaked out that I couldn't shave for 7 days. I'd be like, what?
Oh my God.
I don't know about this.
Can you wear contact lenses?
Well, you would have to have your saline solution. You would have to. I mean, could you imagine?
the
Like,
first year I wore contacts, it was okay. Yeah.
Really?
It's like camping, but with sand.
Yeah.
Storms.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the other really crazy thing is the weather is super, super intense.
Yeah,
There.
he was talking about the sandstorms.
Yeah. So there's like often, you know, like 50 to 70 mile an hour gusts of wind and dust storms, total whiteouts, and it gets to be over 100 during the day, and it can get below freezing at night.
Wow.
Yeah, how do you
So-
pack for that? Like,
Yeah.
as a, you know,
Yes.
as women, like, you know, you and I, probably, our toiletries alone would
Yeah.
need, like, a roll-on
Oh,
suitcase.
for sure.
So can you imagine, like, what are we going to wear?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Oh, my God.
Well, you probably don't wear much of anything. I mean,
Right.
During the day and then
During
at
the day,
night.
and
You
then-
have
Yeah,
to
you gotta
protect
buckle
your
up.
skin because that...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
you just bring in like a shit ton of layers, right?
Wow.
But then, you know, I mean, the cool thing about it is, yes, like you have to be the kind of person who could go into something and say, okay, I know that like my creature comforts for a week are going to be, you know, lessened,
Yeah.
right? But like if you can do that, it's very liberating.
Oh, I bet
right?
it
Because you're like,
is.
I don't need all that crap,
Yeah.
you know? So you'd be amazed at what you can get by. Right?
So how
That's
do you
a-
prep for something like this?
Yeah.
Because you have to plan out your meals, you have to plan out your water consumption, you have to plan out whether you're going to use it to take a shower,
Yeah.
Totally.
and you know, and you have to kind of decide what you're going to bring, what you're not going to bring, what you think you might find there, so on and so forth. So how do you prep for something like that?
Yeah, I was really lucky. So I was explaining how my friend got like me involved. She's part of a camp. So there's like two ways you can go to Burning Man. There's you can be part of a theme camp. And theme camps they apply to the Burning Man organization every year and say like, as a camp, here's what we want to do. We want to provide a roller rink, or we want to do this thing. And the Burning Man organization like accepts or denies you and says, yeah, you can be a theme camp. And then you come early and you set stuff up so that when the actual event opens, when just like every day, you know, or like people who aren't part of a theme camp come, all these theme camps are set up and they can immediately start like going crazy and like playing with things. And so the group that I go with is a theme camp.
Oh my God, how cool.
Yeah, so it's cool because like I get to join that whole infrastructure of like participating and like making things for the community, but also mostly it's just great because they like have all the structures and they have a food plan and they buy water in advance.
That's
And
cool.
it's like a
It's
whole
more of a
thing.
team effort.
It's
So
total
it
team
makes it a
effort.
little bit easier.
Yeah.
And they made a shower, or no? Did they make
There's
a
a
shower?
shower,
They
yeah.
made a shower.
Yeah.
And you feel productive yourself because you're doing so. You're participating and
Totally.
building.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
that's one of the coolest things is like there is so much building. There's a ton of physical labor involved.
And it probably is, you know, satisfying to like our nature in a way. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
that's how we built up our civilization.
You know what I thought it was?
You know, it's
I
like
thought
I
it
wonder.
was
That's
just-
really interesting.
I picture it just being just like a desert, and there
Uh-huh.
are all these tents, and then you'd have to like make fire. That's like picture like
And that's the whole thing.
yeah, and people are like with Indian gloves.
Oh, and people are just like, you know, peyote. Like, is that what you're
like
Yeah,
hacky
yeah. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Like, why'd you have to drive so far to do that? We did it in Nora's backyard or something.
They tell you the tiki, remember? Like tell you Bobby Brady.
Oh,
That's like what I heard.
that's what you pictured?
Yeah, like some really weird.
With Greg Brady with the spider.
It's like wasn't there like some song like that?
Yes. Every time the tiki every time they would show the tiki idol.
Yeah, because that was the bad luck charm.
Yes.
Wait,
Anyway,
is this
we
in the Brady
digress.
Bunch?
Pretty much when they went to
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Oh.
So it wasn't in desert, they went to Hawaii.
I always loved it when 80s TV shows went to Hawaii.
I hate
I hated it.
I loved it.
Oh my god,
I
that
thought it
was
was
the
so
worst. Why
good.
would they always go to stupid
It was
Hawaii?
always Hawaii.
so they could write it off, bitches.
Like, Give Me a Break, I think, went there. I think Growing Pains went to Hawaii.
I think Saved by the Bell went to Hawaii.
Saved by the Bell went to Hawaii.
Full House
Everybody
went to Hawaii.
So another thing I want to get back to was, can you
Okay.
tell us a little bit more about the differences in the camps that are there? And so, and how's it set up? So in other words, are there art installations everywhere? Is it sections? And, do you have like bathroom, toiletry camp and, bread
Good
camp
question.
or, like,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Like, how
No,
does that work?
totally. It's a good question. And it's like, what's neat is over the years, people have said, like, okay, people really want this. Like, people with long hair, like your hair, or Lisa, or whatever, like any of you guys, like, my hair is so filthy, right? Because there's, like, it's just covered in dust.
Right.
So
Oh my
there's
God.
like 3 or 4 camps that just do head wash.
Oh,
So you can go and get your hair
nice.
washed, and like,
Wow.
that's
Oh
what
my
they
God, I'm
Like,
provide.
I'm here to get my hand in.
Yeah,
Oh
totally.
my god, I
Yeah.
would be there like every 2 hours.
Yeah. Right, and this was so fun. You could like wake up and plan your day and be like, I'm gonna go to the booty shorts party and get a pair of booty shorts, and then I'm gonna get my head washed, and then I'm gonna go get laid, and then I'm gonna go do this thing. You just like,
Nice.
Yeah,
Man,
and
that
you just
sounds
run
like
around.
Get laid camp?
That
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
like a
there's
great
so many,
day.
right? There's a lot of them.
there are like 20 of them. So,
Holy shit,
and there
I
are
read
get laid
that
camps
ticket.
for gay guys, for lesbians, and for straight people.
Oh my
Really?
god.
Yeah. I mean that was one of the things I remember most the first year that I went, is there's a straight like sex place called the Orgy Dome.
Oh
And-
man.
Taking notes?
Yeah, totally. So like sold.
And there was a line like down the block to get into the Orgy Dome.
Right.
And then like I went to the gay one and there were like 4 guys there. It's like so, and I think it's just because gay guys have that.
So it's like the opposite of normal reality.
Right.
Right?
So because they have that already in the default world, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And like straight people don't really, so
Yeah,
they
you're
just like go
right.
nuts.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
That's an
Wow.
interesting way to look at it too.
Yeah.
That you go there to kind of be this alter ego of yourself that you
Totally.
wanted to be, or explore things. You feel like you have the freedom to do that at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's like this, most people when they go, they get gifted to them a playa name, which I never liked.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but most people have a name that they go by that's not their default world name.
Really?
Yeah, and usually like someone gives it to them. Like
Really?
some
Like some shaming
Can it
of
be
the
something-
camp?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what? Like how does
But
that?
that's
Something
awesome,
crazy
though.
like
I mean-
Barabarunga.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I want you to call me Barabarunga.
That is a great one. That has to be your name if we go. Somebody like what about
Barabarunga.
Yeah.
No, there was this girl I heard. So she was at a camp. There's a camp called Camp Wet Spot, and she was and apparently she was tripping so hard that she dropped trow in the middle of Camp Wet Spot and just took a shit right
Holy
there
shit.
in the middle, like
For real?
hundreds of people around her, because she was just like, I don't care,
See, that's what I
And
was gonna
so,
say.
and so her playa name is Dump. So,
Like he who has
And
big cheeks.
That's awesome though. If you
Yeah.
go to that place and they have like that orgy, you could just go in there, just fuck people, nobody knows, and you'll never
Yeah.
see those bitches again.
But can you
Yeah.
imagine? You'd be like fucking people like, oh hey, Dr. Smith.
Now that would be quite the coincidence.
You'd be like, oh yeah, I am due for my root canal.
Yeah. Like the coincidence, you'd be like, oh my god.
That's okay, darling. Here I'm not, Dr. Smith.
Barabarunga.
I'll root your canal.
I'll root your canal.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to do that.
So what are some examples of like some of the different camps? Like what was your favorite camp?
Yeah.
yeah, well, listen, like I had my. It's cool because it's a city, right? So after your first year, but especially when you go back, like most of the camps stay the same, right? Because there's a lot of people coming back,
Yeah.
and maybe they like expand on their thing or they do something a little different, but it's mostly the same camps. So just like in the city, you're like, I have my favorite places to go.
Oh, right.
Like I have my like favorite, dance club. I had my favorite like head wash. I had my favorite like get laid spot. Like, and you
Right.
go back to those. So like some of my favorites, there's music. So there's music there all the time. Like it's almost overwhelming.
God,
like
that's so cool.
Yeah. But like sometimes it's really hard to sleep because it's just like boom,
all
boom,
hours.
boom, boom. Yeah.
I just picture like Tom and Jerry episode
Yeah.
where he's shaking in the bed.
Totally.
Just goes to the edge.
Boing, 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 boing,
Comes
boing.
back.
But yeah, so you can hear music anytime. You're just like if it's like 3 a.m, like I'm gonna go dancing. It's like 8 a.m. Like,
Or
I'm gonna go
5
dancing.
a.m.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's a camp called Bubbles and Bass, and they start at like 5 a.m. and go till noon every day, and they just have the bass is like house music, like Chicago house music, so good, and then the bubbles is cheap champagne. And like, and they gift
so
it, right?
cool.
So you just go and like just get drunk on champagne and like, you know. So like I'd go to sleep, you know, I try to be in bed by like 3 or 4, and then wake up, get up, throw on something crazy, and then bike over to Bubbles and Bass, drink a bunch of champagne, dance. Like that's how you start the morning.
Nice, but you have to keep hydrated in the desert.
You
It's
do.
super
That's
dry.
another thing too.
Yes,
Yeah, you're
you constantly
drinking.
have to drink water.
Hell yeah.
But you know, it's crazy. Like even though you can get more dehydrated there, I feel like most people are more hydrated than they are in their normal lives because
they're
you're so conscious of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you're making it a point.
Right. I mean, the other thing that's scary is I'm not a huge drinker generally, but alcohol is huge out there.
Wow.
And so it's just like, you know, like, guys, why are you drinking? Why are you getting wasted in this harsh environment?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's
I
kind
just
of
can't
I
fathom
would probably
that.
feel too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't. What kind of
It's
people do
dangerous.
you encounter there? So, I mean, are there from executives to hippies, from right wing to left wing? Can you tell us a little bit more like what you've run into?
Yeah, I mean, so it's very hippie and it's very and it's very liberal, right? And like left leaning,
Yes.
you know. But like, there's also
No.
Yeah.
Shocking.
No.
But there's quite a few kids there. There's a whole area of the city called Kidsville.
That's
where
So
you
the
can
kids
camp.
hang out there.
I totally
Yeah,
would bring my kids there.
it was funny. We met this girl this year. Her name was Sarah, and she was 7. And I was like, Sarah, how many Burning Mans have you been to? And she's like, 7. So
Oh,
she's
that's
been
so
every
cute.
year.
Even
Yeah.
as a baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
crazy.
I mean, I
Like,
couldn't imagine
I
bringing a
can't
baby
skip.
there. Right.
Bring my baby. Bubbles and bass.
Yeah, totally
Dancing
right.
with
I mean, okay, so that's another thing too. What about like if there's an emergency? Do they have like paramedics on site, or like how does like do they have?
Yeah, well, so it's crazy. So they have
Don't they have their own police?
so they have their own like sort of police. They don't have any real authority. They're called the
Right.
Black Rock City Rangers, and they're all volunteer,
Okay.
right? But then the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, they send police that are like legit
Oh,
police who
okay.
can arrest you and throw you in
Yeah,
jail.
yeah.
But it's really crazy because there's just people from every profession who
Yes.
come, and so there are a lot of physicians who come,
Good.
especially
Yeah,
because
that's
I think
awesome.
because they're like just have this crazy intense life, and then they just want to
They
go
wanna-
crazy.
yeah,
and
they
go
wanna let
They
us
go
see.
nuts.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But what they all do is
Bro,
they
I
put
take everyone's
together.
heartbeat.
Right?
They all
And their temperature.
their rental
Really?
Yeah, their
temperature.
actual temperature.
But they all volunteer. I mean,
That's
not all of
great.
them, but many of them volunteer.
Yeah, that's really
and so
cool.
you can go so there's this girl in my camp named Zena who
Warrior
she was like-
Princess.
yeah, right. She was halfway, so it's like a 2-hour drive from Reno. She's halfway there, and she started like vomiting.
Holy crap.
And so she's like, I can either have the guys driving me take me back to Reno.
Yeah.
I don't have health insurance, so I can pay $2,000
Yeah.
or whatever to go to the
ER.
ER, or I can finish going 1 more hour to Burning Man and get free health care.
Wow.
You know, and so she did the latter.
So they
and-
are left wing.
yeah,
Yeah, for
They're
real.
free
So
healthcare.
I'm assuming they probably, I'm sure, have like medicine, like emergency things. Emergency
totally,
kits.
and like
'Cause
sanitary
God forbid if
conditions.
something
and-
happens.
Oh yeah, no, it's a big thing. You
That's
can go.
awesome.
I mean, so there was the Zena's husband who came this year.
Mm-hmm.
He, you have to stake your tents with rebar, which is like big iron
Oh,
posts,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
You can't just use like little tent stakes.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta
because of
like
the
hammer
winds.
them into the
Yeah.
ground. and he he fell on
Oh
one
my god!
and sliced his shin open.
Yes, can you imagine?
That makes my butt pucker.
My butt just puckered.
Like if
My
you were
butt
there
puckered.
with nothing major infection.
So then where do you go?
Well, they have
Well,
the
so he
physicians.
went to the vet, and they gave him stitches and antibiotics.
They must
and
have
they cleared the
lidocaine.
whole
And you need
deal.
health insurance or you don't?
No.
It's
That lady
all-
said she didn't have any.
Yes, so
Right.
they were for free because they volunteer there. They're the physicians that
It's
go
universal.
to
See, I
Burning.
don't even need a
Healthcare.
Obamacare. You can just go there.
That's right.
Once a
Totally.
year.
Yeah.
Hold your
Get all
shit.
your checkups.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, broke my neck. I need to see someone.
Be like, my neck.
My neck.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
That
really
is.
cool.
And that's
It's
why-
like MASH.
That's totally mad. That's what I pictured
Cross
MASH.
dressers and everything.
I pictured MASH, but like more like.
Less helicopter.
Yes. And no Vietnam. They're not in less
No
war.
war.
Yeah, no Vietnam.
Never dancing.
No army. No
Less
guns.
war, more dancing.
Like, are weapons allowed? I'm sure not. Right?
No, they're not. So like,
Yeah, how do they check that?
well, so the events changed so much over. It's been going on now since in that location. I think since like the early 1990s. So a while now, and it used to be like a true free for all, right?
Wow.
Like you could
Like
drive
anarchy.
anywhere, like total anarchy, right? But as more
Yeah.
people wanted to go,
Yeah.
they just had to establish rules, right?
So it's like Mad Max.
So like no, yeah, it was. But so there are no animals now. Like you can't bring your dog.
Oh.
You can't. There's no guns allowed.
Wow.
And yeah, and then there's limitations on where you can drive. Essentially, you can drive your vehicle in like to where your camp is, and then you have to park it.
Oh, okay. So
Unless you have an
turn
art
around
car,
like
and then
a-
you can
yeah.
drive it anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
A
guess
lot of
why would
people
you need
bring
a
their
gun there?
bicycles.
Like, what is there to shoot besides people?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
is there even any?
Unless like some people are like, well, I gotta protect myself. You know what I mean?
From
It's like,
who?
well, other people.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's the thought process behind this
But then
event, though, isn't it?
exactly.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna find a butt.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mention number one, butt.
No, yeah.
We've been told that we mention lots of butt.
Yeah, and it'll come up again. It'll
Yeah.
come up again.
I mean, really.
Plenty of butt
Yeah.
stuff with these ladies.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
What are you suggesting?
What are you talking about, man? And so, how would you rate your experience from default reality to Burning Man? Like, so is it like walking into another dimension? Is it a dream state? Is it? I mean, how do you feel when you're there? Can you like take us through some of the senses?
yeah. So I think that it's not for everyone. And that's not like said in an elitist way at all. It's not that the
Right.
people who it's for are better than the people it's not for.
Right.
It's just for a certain kind of person.
Exactly.
And I didn't know for sure, but I went, and it was very clear to myself and to everyone in the camp. They're like, Cameron, this is for you.
Oh,
They're
wow.
just like, you like it here, don't you? And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really do.
I never want to leave. Yeah.
And I think it's just because it's like like a moving meditation,
Oh,
right?
God, that's so
you
cool.
just don't have to like. Yeah, I'm sure like you guys too. I'm just so in my head all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
like in the default world. It's a constant thinking about what
Yeah.
other people are gonna think, what I think about this. Is this the right choice? And like it's so much more like action oriented there,
Wow.
where you're just like, I see that thing, and like I'm gonna go interact with
It's
that.
like a gut reaction,
Yeah.
and you respond to it.
Right.
Like it's not all this other thinking about it and mulling it over. And all
Right.
this.
You just
Wow.
are.
And the way
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
should be anyway.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like being super present,
Damn.
you know.
Wow.
And
With no razors.
That's a con. Yeah.
A little bit.
Sure. A little bit.
and I also feel like like being a gay guy, I've always had a little bit of like not wanting to be too gay in public,
Uh-huh.
and it's not that I feel like I'm being my true self, every day in life, but sometimes like I want to flame out,
Oh.
it's fun to do that. Like that is my
Right.
right as a gay man. I get to do that.
Right.
Right.
And I could do that here in Chicago, and I'm getting better at that, I think, because of Burning Man. But there, it's so much easier to do it.
Well,
you
we
know?
talked about Cameron and I talked about like when we were younger, Like, I was much more flamboyant than I am now.
Yeah,
I
me
learned
too.
to, like, hide it at some point because I got
Yeah.
bullied over it.
Like in the professional world too, like as you were growing up.
Well, no,
Is
it was
that
mostly like in junior
or-
high. Like, I
Oh,
was much more
you're talking about
flamboyant.
when you were really
When I was
young.
really young.
Yeah, same for me.
And then the way to cope with it, I became just much more
I never really thought
masculine.
about
and-
it,
Me neither.
guess. You
Yeah,
know what
I
mean?
used to get
Because you
teased
were
for
always
it.
just like Manny.
No, I used
You know
to
what I
get
mean?
teased
It's like, I
for it.
remember, you
Well,
know.
you were always our little brother. We didn't
Yeah.
see if any, you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
didn't have an opinion. It's just, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, we've known you forever, so it's not something that we noticed, I think.
Yeah,
the
not
outside.
at
It was
all.
just you.
But
Right.
Cameron and I
mean-
were talking about that, and that we both had that experience of like trying to bury that part of ourselves.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I would agree that, right, your persona was never really like, you know, it wasn't Flamin' Manny, you know, you were never like, hey girls, you know, it was
Right.
never
Porta
like
Borsa,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you weren't a Porta Borsa, right?
Porta Borsa is like with purse.
Yeah,
Were
with
you
purse.
Boris as a kid?
I was more Porta Borsa as a kid. Porta
Yeah.
Borsa is like, I guess it's another one of our words.
Yes, and
like
it is in
guy with
reference
purse.
to this one guy.
Yeah, this one guy that carried around a purse, and
and
he,
he
was like,
just happened to be very
he was
flamboyant.
very flamboyant.
Yes.
So we called him Porta Borsa.
because he was obsessed with that purse.
Yeah.
And that particular
Well, I
person, I
guess,
think
like,
it was a designer
When
purse,
you're
so
a
that's
kid,
why,
but I
yeah.
guess when you wore like Rosa, your sister's Wonder Woman boots, that's pretty Porta Borsa for Halloween.
That was pretty Porta Borsa.
Yeah, that was sort of like.
Wait, who was Wonder Woman?
Weren't you like Wonder Woman one year? But I guess like we
I
didn't
don't
see, like you
remember.
just said, we didn't.
Yeah, I
really
don't really
see
remember that. Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I was much more just like, woo, you know, which was like more my authentic self, I think.
Yeah.
And like,
And then you had to assimilate.
Everything.
Yeah,
Even
When
when
it's
I
one of those,
was-
like, you reach, like, you're so sure, like, you just are yourself
Right.
until that bullying happens.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you just,
like
like, reach up, like,
sucks.
oh my god, like, I'm not supposed to be this way. I
Yes.
shouldn't be this way.
Well,
And
You
that
know?
happened to us too. I mean,
That
like,
happened to us in other, like when I was a
In
kid, I
other
was fucking like,
respects.
I don't give a shit. You
Yeah,
remember
right.
that? I used to
Yeah,
be
you were
like, I
very
don't give a
outspoken.
motherfucking shit. And then like, then later, then like I got really quiet, really
Yeah.
reserved because people were like, you're stupid.
and
It
then if you're
beats you
sensitive
down.
and you take things
Right.
a certain way, you know what I mean? Like
And they were
that's-
just all cons.
yeah, they were.
Right.
Yeah, they
because
were.
your family accepts you for who you are.
Exactly.
Most of the time they
Yes.
do. So, right, when you are seeking that acceptance from your peers and it doesn't happen, then yeah, you try and
You kind of like go into your shell. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a time where that happens, and I mean,
I mean,
it
like,
sucks. I mean, now thinking back, you know, grammar
Yeah.
school.
like we should never did.
Right.
Like, look at Prince. Prince never went in his shell.
oh no.
Yeah, but Prince is kind of pots,
He is kind of bad.
but he's
Yeah.
amazing.
He is a bitch.
Yeah, but he's amazing.
Like a huge bitch.
I know.
I'm
He
sure.
Yeah,
retail. You
I
can't
mean, we
cover
just
his
had lunch
songs.
with him last week.
If you, you can't cover Prince's songs at all.
Yeah,
if you
it's
cover his
ridiculous.
Wait, you can't. Wait, who can?
Like people,
Nobody?
get, like
Nobody
if you're
can.
like,
He doesn't give them
I
rights.
think if you're famous enough or whatever, but he has a
No,
shit
even
attack.
if you're famous
even-
enough, he doesn't give a fuck
No,
if
we can
Elvis
see
came
the
back
lights
from
out.
the dead.
in the living room.
Yeah.
knocking on the door.
Yeah. Yes. I am. And he'll be like in the crowd too, like.
At a cafe.
Yeah.
We're gonna pop bellies.
Yeah.
Like acoustic. Like,
And he'd be like,
Is that Prince?
fuck him, because I think he covers people's shit.
Oh, but it's fine for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like you're gonna get slapped.
Oh my
Like
god.
Prince.
I have to say, he covered my favorite song by Joni Mitchell, and he
He
ruined
covered
it.
something?
He did it really
See?
badly.
Really?
Really badly, but I like him a lot, and I think he's really good. He
Yes.
just did not do a good job. It was a song, "Case of You."
Oh, I love that song.
No,
I
see,
know,
I have,
and he just
I have
fucked-
a problem
he done
with
fucked
that.
it up.
I could appreciate you. Fine, I'll give you
He done
that. I
fucked up the
appreciate you
franchise.
not wanting other people to cover your music. Fine, whatever. You can do whatever you want, but bitch, do not cover
Yeah.
other people's
Turn
songs.
around.
Then.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
my name is Prince, and this is Apollonia. Remember?
Yeah.
Maniscalco?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine going to a party? And he's like, my name is Prince, and this is Apollonia. I'm like, my name's John.
My name's
Apollonia.
Hank.
Well,
Yeah.
how did he used to introduce himself when he was a artist formerly known?
Oh, that's right. The
Did
symbol.
he just think, "Hi, I'm like lying with a little squiggly thing going through it"? Nice to meet you.
You know what?
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, with the squiggly thing. Mm-hmm.
I got a little squiggly thing.
This bitch. We gotta stop. He's gonna come
Oh.
for us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We better stop Illuminati.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he
Yeah.
will come for us. He'd be like,
Have you got the cease and desist?
Yeah.
You know one thing that I realized?
Lake Minnetonka.
Lake Minnetonka. Pure
What is
fire.
that?
I hear
In Purple Rain.
motorcycle outside right now.
Yeah. And it was like,
And that bitch went in the Lake Minnetonka, then put on the leather,
leather,
outfit
yes.
over her wet body
skin.
like a nasty.
I'd still be there trying to put it on.
1984.
Just like, yeah, she was like, oh, Prince, you motherfucker. It's the Lake Minnetonka. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
He
I
like,
don't remember that.
he was like, if you want to be my woman.
Is
what
that
it
or
was?
some bullshit about telling her something or
You have
finding
to
something out
purify yourselves
in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? So she was like, and
So
then
she like
went in.
took
It was
off
like
all
a-
her
It was like
clothes.
a pond.
And she was like, shh, shh, she like splashed
And then
in
he
there,
was
and he
like,
was like, ha,
that's
ha.
not Lake Minnetonka.
What was it?
It's like some pond.
Like he took her like to like the Des Plaines River. And then she was like, and then she like put the leathers back up.
And got on the bike. All wet
Ew.
underneath the leathers.
And nobody wore underwear in the 80s. You ever notice that? They're like, so you coming back tonight? And the man would be like, I don't know. And he'd put on his like Levi's.
Yeah.
He never had underwear on.
And then I
Ever.
always show the butt.
Balls just
Yeah,
like
right.
in the zipper, all types of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's before guys started really shaving
The-
their
yeah.
balls. a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were like in the Levi's. Like, and you know that zipper was long too.
Yeah.
Oh, the high waist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like sturdy jean
Oh,
material.
yeah,
There's
no
no
lycra.
stretch,
No
yeah.
lycra.
I still
There's
can't
no
even
stretch
believe
in that
that.
shit.
Yes,
Because
it's
I have
true.
this thing, if I wear one size, I have this thing where I have to, so if I'm a size whatever, I have to go up 2 sizes all the time, and sometimes in shoes too, and she gets mad, like, if,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, oh, this dress is a size like 4, whatever, it's like, 8 will be good.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and she doesn't wear shoes. I'm like, you look like Bozo.
because I
You told
don't,
me, like,
I don't like the feeling of anything like,
restricting.
when I picked you guys up and she came down the stairs and her pants were loose, you're like, look, her jeans. I'm like, those sizes too big.
always.
Looks like Tina.
Yeah, always. I'm like, nope. I'm like, this was size. I'm like, excuse me,
Anything
do you carry
restricted.
these in a size whatever? And they're like, yes. I'm like, 2 sizes above that. You carry it there? And they're like, yes. Yeah, it has
Well,
to
I've
be.
seen hammer pants are coming back, I hear.
Those
So
are great. Anything like joggers.
Zuba.
Yeah.
You know what I realized last episode? Because I remember I tweeted about this too. Because I was like, okay, we're going to talk about like some serious stuff or whatever. But we'll end up talking about sex. We didn't talk about sex. And
What? Are you
and
sure?
and
Rewind.
Breakfast Club didn't come up. Emilio
Shut up.
didn't come
Oh
up.
my God, there's this whole thing.
What
This is so, we're obsessed with this. Apparently,
Oh yeah, this
I
is
will get
great.
back to this. In Corey Feldman's
Okay.
book, and this is old news. Most
Yeah.
people all know about this, but we're like, damn, did you hear that? And people are like, yeah, in like 2009. So, anyway, in his book, he was like, well, Corey Haim went off. What was it? It's like on the set of Lucas, he went off with this, like, he didn't say male co-star, but he said a guy that was a little older than him. And, you know, he was all
Did he
like,
say he was an actor?
he didn't say he was an actor.
Oh, he didn't.
But he said somebody who's well known working on the thing.
Well-known.
He ended up going there. He's like,
Keywords.
I say it was rape, but it was like, but you know, what's his name says it was consensual. Haim. It was like, and they went off, and he allowed himself to get sodomized, you know, in the bleachers. And people were like, I think it was Charlie Sheen.
I think it was Charlie
because
Sheen.
like that's who it was at
Charlie
that time.
Sheen.
And,
then they were-
Lucas, he looked like he was
And they were
fine.
like, wait a minute. It was like, remember those Willows? Like, these people, like, on,
Oh,
like,
this is
some
awesome.
message board. They were
This is
like,
great.
what this sounds to me is like Feldman is upset that he wasn't the one that he was in there. So he was all like, what the hell? Why didn't he want to fuck me? And then the guy was like, I mean, did you see Charlie Sheen back
Yes.
then?
Charlie Sheen in that movie was hot.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
he's upset that he was friend zoned. And he was all like, but seriously though.
Because Corey Feldman's talking about the molestation and all that stuff, and he's the first one that came out, and all of a sudden all these motherfuckers...
No, because they were like, so is
it?
it true? Because they said that then Corey Haim
Where
was
are they
like,
saying that Charlie Sheen did this more than once? or-
No, it wasn't even about Charlie Sheen. I think it was most... Like, he brought up that
Yes,
that
please
happened.
don't sue us, Charlie.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're just
Yeah.
Local ass bitches.
surmising this
Yeah.
here.
no, yeah,
accusation of Charlie Sheen.
They
He's
were
not-
talking about like producers, like that's what Corey Feldman's talking about when this.
And I guess
young,
Haim, and then he said
groomed.
after that instance, it just so happened that then Corey Haim became like always
A slut.
obsessed with the dick.
Yeah.
And so they were like, so is it true that Charlie Sheen turned him just hungry for the cock? You know, and they were like, I don't know, man. It seems to me that the guy was like,
He was already loving it.
He was already loving it.
Yeah.
You know, like he was totally like.
But the thing is, I was like, Lucas, my God, he looked like he was 12.
But they probably made him kind of look like that. I know. Now it's like I can't
that was
unsee.
filmed
And
where
I
grew
will
up.
never-
That was filmed in Arlington Heights.
Man,
Was it?
Yeah.
So they were butt fracking it in
Arlington
Arlington
High
Heights,
School.
in the
Yeah.
bleachers. And I wonder what school did they film?
Arlington High School, which is closed now.
Oh.
It's no longer a high school. It turned into like, I don't know.
Interesting.
It has
I
the
will
s-
never
it
watch
has
that
the
movie the same
spirit.
again.
It has the spirit about fucking in the bleachers.
With Charlie Sheen
Yeah.
and Corey Haim.
Well, again, surmising it was Charlie Sheen.
We're talking out our asses.
So anyway, yeah, Corey Feldman was coming out with all those producers that were molesting the kids, and now little by little, people are actually coming out and being
And saying
like,
yes.
Well, because we're talking about how all the child actors are like screwed
Oh,
up.
because
Like,
of
a lot of
that.
them.
Because of that,
terrible.
All
I
the
think.
TV
I believe
shows
that.
Yeah,
and all
terrible.
the-
I
Terrible.
believe him.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. Like different strokes.
Yeah.
I totally believe him. He was like, all those kids were like
Yeah.
molested,
like
in some
corrupted.
way.
And
Yeah.
And Barrymore, like all that shit.
Oh, Barrymore! That
Oh.
whole thing where with Robert Downey Jr. That story. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. I
I
think
thought you said it was Jack Nicholson.
it was Jack Nicholson with Robert Downey Jr. telling the story. Robert Downey Jr. was talking about, and I think Rosa told me this. I don't know if she read it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
was it somewhere? It was like somewhere
That
like
it was an interview,
article.
an
or
article
something.
that he said. He was like, I'm paraphrasing now, but basically, like, like when you're in those types of environments, your perception is completely skewed. Like, you don't realize how fucked up it is. It's like now you think how fucked up it is. It's like, we're going to Jack Nicholson's house to score, like, some blow. And it's like, and then here comes Drew Barrymore in one of his, like, shirts in her panties. Her panties! She was 13 years old! 13 years old!
You just like channeled your grandfather.
13 years old when Jack Nicholson always gave me the creeps. But not Jack Nicholson when he's acting. Jack Nicholson when he's himself in an
Jack
interview.
Nicholson gives it the creeps even when he's acting.
When he's acting, he doesn't give me the creeps.
What?
Yeah, when he's himself, he gives me the fucking creeps, like at award shows or something like that. You see him and
He's
you're
like,
like,
eh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, or like when they
Ew.
interviewed him after Heath
Ew.
Ledger died.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
So weird because he was talking about it like Heath Ledger, how he played
Yeah.
the Joker. Like,
Yes, yes.
And all he said was, he's like, I told him not to take that role. It messed with his mind. And then that's all he said.
Oh my
About
god. So
it.
what, like, you're trying to, like, make a joke or something?
No, he was like serious.
Hey, a joke.
It was
Did
very
he mess
weird.
with his vibe? The
He
joke?
Yeah.
was like, no one could do better than me.
Oh my god, because God knows what these people
Maybe he
see.
put the Malooks on him.
Oh,
The Malone
He
kid.
looks like a Malou.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Mm.
Well, sorry, we have to come back to Cameron.
totally went off on a huge
That was
tangent.
like a whole whiplash. How would you rate your experience and tell us, is it something like a lifelong goal that you want to go back every year? Is it something that you'd want to build your own camp one day? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so the deal is, I would love to go back every year, but there's two things that are like fucking with that, but in a good way. I mean, one is a bad, one's bad, one's good. So the bad is that it's actually really expensive to go.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
Because that's 2 weeks. Is it 10 days?
So, so when I go, I go for 2 weeks total, and that includes a couple days in Reno before and after.
Okay.
And then, you got to get yourself out to Reno. It's a $400 ticket just to go.
Yeah.
It's like $200 in camp dues. You got to buy all your food. You got to.
Right.
And then if you think about it, like the week you're there, you don't spend any money.
Right.
So there's that.
Right.
But still, it's expensive.
Well,
And
you
then,
know?
then spending that extra time before you come back to your home base is probably recommended because people really need to assimilate back to.
Yeah.
They have to adjust. They have to kind of clear
They have
their
to, like,
mind before they
decompress
go
and-
there,
yeah.
and then when they're coming back, they probably have to decompress.
Yeah, and super
or something.
practical stuff too, like that it's not sand out there, it's dust.
Oh.
And it gets in everything.
Holy shit.
So like you can't bring that shit home. Like you have to wash everything before, or else like it'll just like move into your home. It's like bed bugs.
Oh
you know?
my God.
Yeah. So there's a lot of practical stuff you have to do when you're back in Reno afterwards. And then
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, and so it's just like, it's not like a vacation. You know, it's in some ways it's so much better than a vacation because like it changes your life.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also just like sometimes I just want to go and relax or maybe see like a new city.
Yeah,
or,
totally.
You know, and then the other thing is just like I want to be. Speaking of which, like I want to be able to like make new memories with Manny, right? And like, go do things with him. And I only have so much money,
right?
So, and like I
there's
thought,
an orgy dome.
I know.
We'll make our own orgy dome.
I thought a lot this year. I'm like, would he have a good time here? And he's awesome, and like, you know, is can thrive in any environment. You know, I think we have that in common.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'd love it. You know, and so
I mean, I'll try anything once.
Right.
You know.
But try it once for 2 weeks is a long time to
yeah,
commit to.
and like it can really
That's long.
ruin like there's like this whole Burning Man relationship thing where like it can totally
Really?
fuck up a relationship.
Wow.
So now I think we have a super
Because-
open and communicative one, but
Yeah.
It makes me think that this Burning Man experience is very deep. You know what I
And
mean?
it's
So
very
there's
like
You get back to your core, and maybe if you were with somebody that you weren't in your core.
right.
You
you
could
probably need
see
to
your
experience
true
it on
character
your own.
coming out.
Yeah.
Like
So that's
mine would
probably-
be a
Sure.
bitch. I'd be like, I want to do this. And be like, oh my god. Like that's seriously what my true character is.
yeah. Well, for the
I'm
first
a
time
whiny person.
in the camp history. For the first
my
time in camp
God.
history, there were two people. They were costume designers from New York, and I was super excited. I was like in a group with them. They were so awesome. And we got there on Friday, and then we woke up Tuesday morning, and they were like, "See ya." They're like, "This place fucking sucks.
Whoa.
We are out of here." So, and they went home. So,
Wow.
It was just too
yeah,
much for
it was
them.
just way too much for
What
them.
was it? Because they were like, we don't have sparkling wine. Like
Well,
Like
it's like
this-
where's
they're
the guard
quiet.
now?
There's always
It's just
music. It's hard, right?
It's really uncomfortable and
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
It's
well, that's
not.
why you got to be on drugs.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what they said. They're like,
You're-
we don't party. It's
Well,
not
then
the
you
phrase
shouldn't
is.
be here.
Well, right. You know?
Right? What else
Just
do you
do
do
it.
in the middle of the fucking desert?
Right, you'd have to be
Yeah.
on something, like drunk or on something. That's the whole
Because
point.
that's intense.
Absolutely.
But it also helps you maybe to adjust out of your comfort zone a little bit. And
I mean,
Some
if
people that are probably ready to be uncomfortable for a little bit probably would get past that. You know what I mean? Like, but if these, certain types or whatever
you
aren't.
always said butts.
I said, I did almost say butts.
These are the butt.
She looked at all the bees for like 3 seconds. I saw that shit.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you know already ahead of time, it's like, God, there's some shit that's going to come out of my personality, but I'm going to stick with, like, whatever, if you're already, that's what I would think. At least for me, that's probably what I would have to say to myself.
I think it's the number one thing. It's
Yeah.
like if you're like, can I go there? Do I want to go to Burning Man? It's like if you're the kind of person who can roll with it and like the most general sense, you will probably have a great time there. And it may not be through like a drug dancing to maybe it's through like volunteering and or like meeting. There's all kinds of ways you can experience, but you have to be able to just
Orgy
roll with Yes.
Did you just say orgy dome? Orgy dome?
No.
What? I have to park? No, I'm going to orgy
We won't see Nora for like 5 days. You're like, where is she? Did you sleep at the orgy dome? Just spend the night there?
It's funny.
But I feel like I would be okay. I mean, I'm a camper, and like I do like yoga retreats.
I
and,
think
like,
you would be okay because you
No.
are that type of person, like like Cameron said, like you are. But I think what Cameron means, what I'm getting from it, is you really don't fucking know until you go and do
Right.
it.
For
like,
sure.
Like you really
And then if
don't know.
you're it's an individual experience,
Yeah.
so if you're relying on somebody else,
Yeah.
maybe that's where the tension comes to.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really it really is like an individual place.
Wow.
I think it's really hard to have a shared experience there. One of the awesome things, the camp that I'm in is just like the coolest people in the world. Like you guys would just love them. But we set off, we're like, yeah, let's like go out, like we're gonna like, get on the bus and go out on the playa for the night. And within like 30 minutes, every single person is broken off.
Wow,
You know?
yeah.
Because like you whatever, you're
It's
like
your
biking.
own exploration.
Yeah, and then like you see this thing and you're like, I gotta go see that. Bye guys. You know?
Wow,
And so-
that is so cool.
Don't you think that's how real life should be experienced too sometimes? Because a lot of times we
Yeah.
decide we're just going to get on the train with everybody else
Yeah.
and do what everybody else does. And here's an example of breaking free and doing what you want and not having to answer to anybody
Yeah.
because you're being true to yourself.
And everybody's cool with it. So it's like a really great environment that's supportive in that way.
Right. And
You
that's
know,
why
everybody's like, cool.
I know, like, if I did that with Manny, if we were like, oh, and I was like, man, I gotta go see, I gotta go
Yeah.
by myself,
Yeah.
like, I need
Yeah.
this, he would be like, okay. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like I would be.
yeah, so, like, I feel like our relationship would stand the Burning Man test and, like, all that crap. But,
What's funny is we've talked about like how we're very independent people. Like
Right.
we're both like that. And in another relationships, I've always been independent and wanted my independence, and so
Yeah.
have you. But like in this relationship together, like we give each other the independence, but we don't necessarily like look for it because we just feel like really free
That's wonderful.
in it, right?
I
mean,
get
feel-
that great feeling from you guys. First of all, to our audience, this is like the cutest couple ever. You can see their picture on Instagram. I posted your Halloween picture.
Aww.
Oh yeah, I was the brawny man, and you were Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
We were the cleanest couple in America.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I get that energy from you that you guys are definitely your own people, but you know there's a connection there, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, something different than I've seen, and I've known Manny his whole life.
Yeah.
Just so you know, there's definitely
it's good.
there's electricity there that I see that's different than everybody else.
Well, I was listening to Teal Swan. I'm obsessed with Teal
Oh, I
Swan.
love Teal
think I was
Swan,
telling you guys.
yeah.
And she was talking about
She
how
looking like a man?
no.
No, she's beautiful.
She
Oh,
doesn't
that's
look
not-
like a man. No, she
She
doesn't.
looking like a man? Oh! I know what you're talking
No,
about.
she was talking about how think about all the relationships you've ever had, whether you ended them or they ended it with you or however it ended, and think about the feeling that you had when it ended and what is the common feeling that you had every time. And I thought about it, and for me was I always felt free.
Yeah,
Every
see?
single one. Like whether I broke up with them, they broke up with me, I always felt free. And she said that's the feeling that you should have in your ideal relationship.
Wow.
And that's what I do have. I really feel free in this relationship, and I feel like I can totally be myself, and like I feel like I feel very free.
And that's exactly what the Burning Man experience is like too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah,
something
and that's why
there.
I said, like almost everybody has a playa name, which I don't know. I just because I feel like when I go there, I get to be exactly who I want to be. Like I get to be like the ideal Cameron. It's like I'm gonna change my fucking name.
Oh,
Like-
right.
Yeah, like I'm
that's-
me.
Yeah, you're you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like especially me more than
Yes.
ever.
I think I would have the same feeling too.
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
yeah.
Instead
I
of
could
Lisa,
see-
you'd be Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Well,
And
I
so-
think we should probably take this time to give a shout out to some of our podcast friends.
Oh yeah, so we
made some great friends.
Podcast friends. Hey guys, we had the honor of being mentioned on one of our great new buddy podcasts, the Shite Podcast.
And what a funny
Oh, it was
group.
awesome.
You guys are
Yeah.
so funny.
Very
Oh my gosh,
entertaining.
I was dying. I know you guys had asked on the podcast, how do you get a podcast with a bunch of women? Because you guys were jealous of me because I had a bunch of women in my podcast, and all you have to do is just be a flaming homosexual.
Yeah.
That's
It
all you gotta
works.
do.
If you want to, flip the switch. Then you can but
Yeah, lots of girls.
we grew up with each other, so we're like brothers and sisters
Yeah.
more than anything. So that's how Manny got into our lives, and we got into his pretty much. But they're great. Thanks for mentioning us, guys. And
Love your accents, of course. Like I'm always a sucker for
Yeah.
accents.
We
And we have accents.
Yeah.
too.
I got a little bit, couple 2-3 accents. Yeah.
And P.S. we love cunt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We have no problem with that word.
We have no
so.
problem with that.
Yeah.
word.
But
No
they're totally
problem.
right, though. In America, I think it's much more
Oh, it
offensive, I guess,
is.
than it
But
is in
why?
other
Nobody can
places in the
explain
world.
to me why.
Here, it's supposed to be the worst thing you could say to
It
a
is.
woman.
Why
That's
isn't
what they
why?
have.
That's the
why
what
isn't
they have.
twat?
It's just
You're right.
what we've decided is the worst.
Why
thing
isn't like
could
you
say.
I wonder
total
where that
twat?
originated
Like,
from.
like every minority, has the one word that's
Yeah.
like the worst. That's the
But
one
what's
for
the
women.
origin of this one? Because you know what the
Nothing.
origin of the other one.
Right.
Yeah, the origins of the other ones, like
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, fag for gay guys
Yes.
comes from, like, burning sticks, and, like, they used to burn
That's
gay
great.
people. And
That's
it comes
lovely.
from burning people.
Mhm.
So that makes sense.
Right.
But,
Right.
like,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe because it sounds hostile? I mean, I don't know.
No,
Like
they're-
very short. And
Yeah.
I think it was on Wikipedia. They're like, they don't really know why. It was just like
It's
offensive.
just arbitrary that they
Yeah.
decided that
Yes,
this
it
was-
sounds arbitrary.
And bitch, we've taken back. So bitch is
Uh-huh.
powerful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
lab does not stand for labia, but thanks for bringing it to our attention.
It should.
Right, yeah. But we're definitely going to use the comment on Facebook from our friends at All Seeing Guys podcast and make a t-shirt that says lab. Lots of butt stuff.
Yeah. Plenty of butt
Plenty
stuff.
of butt stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely going to be our new tagline. Thanks, guys. And so, yes, we've got friends at this Shite Podcast. Please check them out on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes. They don't have a website yet, but maybe
I can help you guys make one. Let me know.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Mhm.
And yes, and on Facebook, our friends over at All Seeing Guys podcast mentioned that they're gonna feature us on their show too. So thank you so much. We put out an ad, 30-second little clip about our show. Hopefully, people get a feeling of who we are just by the cute little ad Manny put together for us. And we have friends who are featuring it now. So thank you so much. We really, really, really do appreciate the love, the podcast love, and the support that we're getting from our new friends. So the All Seeing Guys, too, you can find them on YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Facebook, and iTunes. And we look forward to, exchanging some ideas with you guys
Yeah.
and maybe, doing some cross podcasts with each other. Speaking
like
of
some
cross
collaborations
podcasts,
and stuff,
yeah. We also have our friends over at Empty Rant Podcast who we were supposed to actually be featured on their show coming up shortly yet. So I've been texting with our friends there and definitely gonna do some make a collaborative effort to talk and have fun and, raise the roof on some interesting topics, hopefully.
And then we'll put links to all of these podcasts on our website too.
Yes,
So
we
you
will.
can just go to our website and we'll have links to
And
all
click
these- all
it.
these
Don't
guys.
just like scroll. And
Yeah, right?
do the whole
Click it or
scroll
check
and
it.
not looking.
So I guess that guy was right. It's like, and I would think they were bitches.
we are bitches.
Yeah, and our friends over at Empty Rant, you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, and they have emptyrant.com too, so please check them out. We really appreciate you guys supporting us and loving our
For
pages
sure.
on
That's
Empty,
awesome.
on Twitter and
Instagram.
Instagram and Facebook. Even though, Facebook's a little slow, guys.
It is.
What's going on
Mhm.
there?
Yeah, it's like Twitter and Instagram are definitely like where it's at, like for stuff like that.
What do you mean Facebook's a little slow? Like it moves slowly?
No, it seems to be for a different age group or something.
Yes.
Maybe.
It is.
And
It's an
more
older
for like
crowd.
it's like a different type of medium, it's more like family, friends oriented,
Yeah.
like, hooking up with people. that
Because
you
if people
never
be
met.
like, where we talk about assholes, and they'll be like, share, and it's like, I really love this, talk about assholes, and then, like, you're like, boss gets it. You're
Yeah.
like,
Right, it's true. It's like your aunt. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we're not ashamed to talk about butts.
Right.
But I guess it's not for everybody.
Well, speaking of butts, I feel like we should share the butt story.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, we should, but I deleted the app from my phone.
Oh.
But why don't we talk about something else and I'll look it up on the mobile version.
there's a butt app?
There's a great butt story.
It's a
You guys
butt
know.
app.
If we don't get the butt story this time, you guys will get the butt
that?
story next time.
Yeah,
It sounds like totally perfect.
Yeah. So I will look it up in a second, but I deleted the app because, okay, let's face it. Okay, Cupid's been taking way too much of my fucking
Oh
time.
my god.
Well, you know what? Online
Why?
apps
What is
in
it?
general do that. Like dating apps and stuff, they really
Yeah.
suck you in.
They do.
But it's like,
I've been really good this time
but
on
part
mine.
of it's
Like, I've been
it's
very
good though. Like,
selective.
because I met Cameron through one, so it's not a bad thing.
That's
it's
what
just
I'm
it's so
It's
easy to get
not a
sucked
bad
in.
thing. I've
No.
met a couple of very nice people.
Yeah,
you
me
just
too.
have to
And
weed
you
through
know
a lot
who
of the
you are.
shit.
And I'm more
You know,
selective this time.
bitches, you know who you are.
Uh-huh.
You're other crazy motherfuckers. I'm not.
Yeah, like, stop posting, like, people that, like, comment
Oh,
weird shit. Do
yeah.
people know that they're weird?
Well, I
Like,
think
you
that
feel like-
sometimes
like,
they
you feel
feel like
like,
they're being clever.
Hey.
Remember that guy?
No.
that
Like,
said
if
No,
you
the worst,
if
the
you
worst
me-
is sup? Question
Yeah,
mark.
Yeah.
and that's it. Or if you message somebody and you're like, hey,
Uh-huh.
what the
about the
fuck
one the other
is
night?
that?
When
Who
I
does that?
showed Rosa this one because it was this guy and it was like,
No, let's-
hey, can I ask you something?
Like that.
Ellipses. And she was like,
No.
you're all fucking creepy about it?
Yeah.
You know? And I was
What
like,
is that?
I totally had that.
Yeah.
I had one the other day. He's like, "Do you want to just like sit on my face and my tongue can ride your clit all night?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
"How
like.
about hi? My name is."
I got one last week and it just said, "I'd pound that."
Thank
That's
you.
great though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of them are
some
great.
are super
Or one that was
fucking
like,
great.
it was like, fuck my fat ass.
Oh my god, that's great. I mean, sometimes they do. They make you
Some.
smile.
Ass.
They make you smile.
But hey, ellipses?
Yeah.
No. Can I ask you something?
Or like they'll be like, into, question mark.
Uh-huh.
Into.
And then like in the gay one, they'd be like, verse, BB bottom, into oral body contact.
Ah.
Like there's all these like
Yeah.
codes.
See, in those things, I think like you have to always like offer up something about yourself. Like, hi, my name is Bruce. I work in sales. You know, make yourself humanize yourself. Humanize yourself first. You're like, and then
It's
I like to,
I like
you know,
movies, long walks on the beach, and golden showers.
I hang out. Yeah, like I hang out in Wicker Park. I like a taco every once in a while, and I like, you know,
Once in a while.
like ass play. You know, so you're like, okay. So now all that other stuff is in your mind first, not that creepy, like,
like-
But
hey,
that's it, but that makes it
hey,
less creepy?
ellipses. Yeah, it makes it way less creepy.
Be like, but he likes tacos.
You have to humanize yourself first. You can't go, hey, ... Can I ask you something? Bitch, I don't even know you
Right.
yet. So it should
Someone
be like,
did that recently, and I said,
No.
"You already asked."
yeah. Like you can be, the correct way of doing it is like, hey,
I wonder if it's
I know
the
this
guy.
might sound weird, but can I ask you something?
Oh, right.
Because it does sound weird. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, since you addressed it, you can ask me something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got a fart fetish guy the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I had
So,
one of those.
tell me, would it not be that less weird? Be like, hey, I like to do this. My name is like Stan. I like to, you know, I work in architecture, and sometimes I like farts.
Yeah, no, there was the guy that like
It's
approached
not
me.
as
And
bad.
he asked me.
Because now
like,
you're like, oh, he's in architecture. He went to college. He's like a person. You know what I mean? It's not like some like, I don't know, like anything could be creepy online if you like don't say, like if you don't make
Because you
yourself
don't have like a
know that comes
reference
across.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, like to me, like whatever you like sexually is great. I don't find it weird, but
Yeah,
but
because
if
everybody's
you're
got
like
their thing.
if you're like a person first, if you're a creepo,
Okay.
You know what I
Because you
mean?
don't know if they're really creepy, is what you're saying. Because they're only leading with the sex.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
only leading with that.
So if you're like, I
Right,
fucking
so
love
you're-
chocolate chip cookies and farts. It's less weird.
It is. Well,
See?
see, there's a fine line because I got that one invitation that just said, "Hello, I'm in town for the night, and I'd like to, have your acquaintance." And I was just like, "Nope,"
The
And-
right way would be like, I know this is weird. You should always start with, I know this is weird.
yeah, because
Be
it
like,
already puts you at ease.
Yeah. Be like, I know
Yeah.
this is weird, but like, I
I
think you're really
appreciated
pretty
that.
or whatever.
That's like a
and
sales
I
technique
am.
when they're like, I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Right,
So
I
you
should.
move
I gotta
forward.
get out of customer service sales. Like, I know this is strange, but
Yeah, I don't want to put
whatever.
any pressure.
I'm in town for the night. If you want to go,
Yeah.
tell me, would you not fuck me? You'd be like, yeah. You know what I mean?
It's all because you said, I know this is strange.
And made yourself more human. Like there's more of a connection. Like I know this is
I
strange,
know
but
this
I'm
may
in
seem
town
like a
for
Quentin
you know what I mean?
Tarantino movie.
That other thing is weird. You don't just message somebody like ...
Yeah,
in
right.
town for the night. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Well, I had one guy who
Looking,
said, "What are you wearing right
question
now?"
mark.
And I
Like
just wrote
the-
khaki pants. Okay, so the best article, because we are a butt podcast.
Yeah.
So I came across this one guy's page
Oh, this is so good.
had the following to say.
This is so good.
I'm not going to give a screen name.
Right.
And, who's to say if this is real or not, but whatever it is, it was the best thing we read
Yeah.
all
It could be
fucking year.
satire.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
By the way, I have a 77% match with this person.
Bomb.
I'm not saying
It's like, take from that what you will.
Take from that what you will. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. It goes like this. I'm interested in one thing and one thing only. Eating the butt. Eating your butt.
Yes.
There is literally nothing else to me. I am wholly consumed with placing myself into situations where I might possibly be asked, or, as is far more often the case, begrudgingly allowed to eat the butt. I have almost no interest in anything else unless engaging in it gets me closer to my eventual goal of eating the butt in some way. For instance, say you told me that if I took cooking class with you, something I am in no way interested, I would then be allowed to eat the butt. I would do it. I would take that deal.
So great.
Skydiving, scuba diving, softball team, ballroom dancing, all things I find repellent to imagine myself doing. A complete waste of time and energy, yet I would do each of them 4 nights in a row. If night 5 featured me eating your butt.
Oh, that's so good.
You name it and I will do it with you. I will laugh and smile and pretend I'm totally into it if I get to eat the butt directly afterward. I want to make it clear that when I say eat the butt, I mean eat the butt. Capital letters, by the way. No quick tongue in and out around the edge and call it a night. I am talking a serious, unrushed, thorough butt eating. Minimum 35 minutes of straight.
Damn.
I know. Minimum of 35 minutes of straight tongue wiggling around in butt. If you are not prepared for such fully engaged hijinks, I urge you to look elsewhere for a butt-eating partner, as I am a seasoned veteran of the butt-eating game. Not a hobby, this is a lifestyle for me. I'd pretty much be on the cover of all magazines if butt-eating magazines existed.
This is my favorite part.
With my picture and headlines like, will we ever eat enough butt?
Oh my god, who is this girl?
Or, how much butt is too much underneath? What I'm doing with my life. I am as devoted to eating the butt as Michelle Bachmann is to Jesus. And being insane. If there were a World Series of butt eating, my efforts would be honored with a fly over by the Blue Angels before the game began. During interviews at halftime, each player would publicly state that if they could only be half as devoted to eating the butt as I have been in my career, they would be satisfied. Feel like they've given it their all. I'm really good at, not to toot my own horn, but I've been told I eat the butt rather well. Like, quote, like my butthole was somehow placed into a soft, warm pencil sharpener, end quote, is how I describe it.
You can't make shit like that up. He's not lying.
No way. Now, I am not sure exactly what that means. It's a very odd statement to make, but she insisted it was an extreme compliment. Favorite books, movies, shows, music, and food. I'm wholly focused on eating the butt, so I don't see many shows or movies unless I hear there is some mention of butt eating in it. Which is still pretty rare in puritanical 2015. The 6 things I can never do without: my passport to travel for exotic butt eating, a steady stream of local butts to eat, and you can have the other 3. Although he only mentioned 2, so he meant 4, I would think.
I love that he can't live without a passport because it leads to butt eating.
Yes,
So
exotic butt eating.
I spend a lot of time thinking about new horizons in analingus. On a typical Friday night, I am honing my skills on one of my custom-made real dolls, or perhaps in the field, eating actual butt.
In the field.
Yeah, in the field. He is scientific about
Remember
that
the real
shit.
dolls? Have you ever heard of those?
No.
We'll talk about it after.
Oh, probably what he's
Yeah.
talking about. Probably what we saw at the Exotica show.
Ah, yes.
Those mold injected dolls, yeah.
Wait.
You should message me if you would enjoy a complete stranger eating your butt in a casual, relaxed atmosphere.
I have a question. Where's the butt happen? Eating at the house?
I guess anywhere he'd be game.
I mean, I just want to see this guy
he-
eat a grapefruit or something.
Oh, yeah, right? Like, do you eat anything
What
else?
would he do things like for you, or is that prostitution? Asking for a friend. Just saying.
We're gonna dial him up.
Is the screen name like Human Chair?
Could you imagine? Don't give him ideas. He'll be like, I will be your human chair.
I will be your human chair.
Is it real?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's find out.
On the next. Look
And even
Yeah.
if it is real, props for writing such an entertaining entry.
so good.
Yeah,
We
well
didn't
written.
know. It's very
Yeah.
well
We
written.
need to find somebody who wants to
And like his,
scene.
the,
We
like his
gotta find out
thesis
this
is
is
very
real,
clear.
and that'll be the next
I
episode.
thought he was very clear in his thesis.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
I mean, he's not beating around the bush.
On that note,
Well, speaking about beating around the bush, we went to Peaches.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
it was
Cameron
so
went
good.
with us too. It was very fun.
Peaches, if you've never seen Peaches, she is
She's
in her
fantastic.
late 40s. She's an electronica musician. She's in her late 40s. She started as like a school teacher. She
She's
was
a
like
school
elementary,
teacher.
elementary school
Yeah.
teacher. And then, one day she decided to create this persona called Peaches.
That's her alter ego. is
And her
Peaches.
alter ego, and she sings songs like Slippery Dick is just a fish in the Atlantic. She sings Two Guys for Every Girl.
To me, Peaches seems like, she's very much like celebrate your sexuality and don't get hung up on labels and, just do like, it's like, or like you know what I mean? Just like whatever feels good as long as you're not hurting anybody is okay.
Right.
And be okay with that.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great.
She's one of the best performers I've ever seen live.
Yeah. So if you've never seen Peaches or you don't know who Peaches is, check that shit out. It's fantastic.
Like, she literally, from the stage, she stepped on the audience's hands. Like, people held her up with their hands, and she walked over the crowd, singing the song.
Yeah.
And then she dove, and people were, like, throwing her around as she kept singing the song.
Yeah.
And she did this for, like, almost the whole song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. it was
And then they blew up this inflatable, like, thing that was supposed to be like a penis.
Yeah.
Over the entire audience, and then she went inside
And she went
of it.
inside, like one of those inflatable like beach balls that
Yeah.
would go
Yeah.
inside.
And she was inside of it and like walking over the audience again. It was just, oh my god.
And her
she's-
dancers are wonderful.
dancers are awesome. Her music's so
Sexy.
cool.
Yeah, it just really, it was a great show.
And she's in like her late 40s. She's
That's
freaking
the best
awesome.
part.
She's in great shape.
Yeah.
And what a great musician, great voice.
Yeah, it was like super empowering, right? You leave there and you're just
Yeah.
like, I want to be a fucking badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
Like, I need to go find a leather bra and fucking dance on a table or something.
And that's what, like, I've not read this, but I feel like for her, like, it was, I think it's like an alter ego thing.
Yes.
Where, like, she was just this,
Gotta
like,
be.
Jewish school teacher,
Yeah.
who, like, had the badass in her, but she's like, I can't be me and bring out that badass, so I'm
Yes.
going to create this character. Right?
And also, I remember reading somewhere that she also had, like, as growing up, she felt out of place. Like, we were just talking about bullying and stuff like that. And that was a lot of, having to do with the Peaches alter ego, too. I remember reading that somewhere.
She was just actually featured on the Mark Maron podcast.
Oh,
Oh,
So-
really?
Yeah.
So if you guys
Oh.
are
Awesome.
Mark Maron fans,
Yeah, he interviewed Obama, right? That's Mark
Yes.
Maron? Yeah.
Then look up his show and take a listen to the interview. It's a great little interview.
Oh, cool.
Because he was expecting something totally different.
Yeah.
He didn't know a lot about her, and then when he got to know her, it was just really interesting.
Super
But
smart.
not right. It's not what he expected.
Like, you probably expected, like, fucking Sid Vicious and John Lydon or
right,
something,
right.
She was like,
So
oh,
the
yeah.
GGL and
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
I mean, she's got elements of like David Bowie in
Yeah.
her, and like I don't know, just like she's awesome, PJ Harvey, but she's also like her own electronica thing.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
like, a lot of John Waters, too.
Oh,
Waters
yeah.
references.
Yeah, like, how dirty can you be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she gets pretty dirty.
Yeah.
My favorite line
think
is when
it's
she's
great.
like, "No, no, 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 baby, I ain't carrying mace. Did you feel something just spray in your face?"
He's covered in marmalade.
She's covered in marmalade.
I guess we know what song's gonna be the outro for this episode.
Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. We're gonna put that as the outro.
It was so funny. There was this like hair rep that came because I do hair, so she was like talking to us about like whatever. She's like, and that's my Instagram. So she's like, everybody follow me on Instagram. So I'm like, cool, I'll follow her on Instagram. And then I was like, oh my god, you went to Peaches? She was like, I did. And I was like, what is Peaches?
It's like one of those like intimate, like a club.
Yeah.
There's like a secret club.
Because like her Instagram, she went to the same show you did.
Well, you guys tried to go to Peaches.
I know, but I think I worked.
Well, I mean, the other time.
Yeah.
OMG.
That was the smart part.
I
She got
think,
kicked out of smart part. It was ridiculous. Well,
Yeah.
I got kicked out too. Like
For being like a human vomit machine.
Can you imagine if that shit happened on the dance floor?
Oh my god.
People be slipping and sliding all over your.
Oh, stay tuned because we're gonna have to get
damn
into this story next.
Yeah, we're gonna do the
podcast.
story next time. But
Yeah.
you'll learn about why Lisa and Rosa got kicked out of Smart
Yeah.
Bar here
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous.
during a Peaches concert.
Oh, you gotta tell the story too.
Yeah, I gotta tell the
we'll tell
story.
the story. We'll
Yeah.
tell it next time.
It's a
Yeah.
good one.
Is that, We got some good things to tell you, don't we?
Well, thanks so much for listening today.
Yes,
we had a great
thank
time.
you.
Thanks to our
And
guest,
thank you,
Mr.
Cameron.
Oh, thanks
Cameron
so much for
Heinze.
having me. I feel so honored. Oh my goodness.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on back and do me. Oh wait, that's later, that's later today.
Yeah, that's later tonight. That's for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, ciao.
Ciao for now.
I wanna see you work it. Got. Two guys for every girl.
The Lab Podcast would like to give a shout out to our international podcast man friends. 2 guys for every girl, just the way we like it. Check out the Empty Rant Podcast.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. Superman.
No, it's just me, Miguel, from the Empty Rant Podcast. Multiple rants, one podcast. Home of Beer Me 3 and Geek Rant. Catch all your Empty Rant podcasts at emptyrant.com and all that other good stuff. Now, back to the Local Ass Bitches Podcast.
How about the All Seeing Guys Podcast?
I am Greg. I'm Joe. And we are the All-Seeing Guys.
The All-Seeing Guys comedy podcast, home of Joe's terrible accents, such as
Fucking maggot with the boys.
Australian,
Name is Joe.
French, and
I can see the pub from here.
another type of Australian. We discuss fucked up shit,
Philic infantilism
which
is
isn't paralysed infant. We get the listeners involved via email, Twitter, and our Facebook page. Search The All-Seeing Guys Podcast with Greg and Joel. We are everywhere.
SoundCloud, Hipcast, Stitcher, to name but a few.
The All-Seeing Guys is filmed in front of a live studio audience. It isn't.
And the Shite Podcast.
Say what, Cindo? This shite pod, coming to you. Bug, Stitcher, come on down. SoundCloud, no shanky, no wanky. iTunes, find us on iTunes. Stitcher.
Brother's friends start serving party pies in a clown outfit.
Bruce, Davo, Larry, Shazza, Steve Cat, Stazza, Colin,
Mark Mitchell from Round the Twist.
this shite pod.
If you like what you heard, please share us on Twitter at Bitch Podcast, on Facebook at Lab Podcast Chicago, on Instagram at l.a.b._podcast, or visit our website www.labpodcast.com.